Ken, and you're watching Kilt Can Cook, the Scottish cooking channel that encourages young men and women to have the confidence and competence they need to conquer the kitchen. Today we're going to be cooking biscuits and gravy. Now I know what you're thinking, it's not the Scottish and English version of biscuits. No. These aren't the sweeties that you serve during afternoon tea. Hey mate, would you fancy a biscuit? No, this is the American type, which is a savoury, flaky, buttery... Well, you'll see.
Biscuits and gravy. I notice how odd American words are. What we call biscuits, they call cookies. What we call crisps, they call chips. And we call chips, they call fries. Daft bunch of makey ball bags. How I love the lot of you. Alright, we're going to start by flouring a clean countertop. We'll add 2 cups of flour and 4 teaspoons of baking powder. See how I'm dragging it over the edge like that? That's so I have a wee bit more of a precise measurement. Here, I'll zoom in for you. All that excess, right back in the tin. Perfect. And we're going to do the same thing with a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. And we're going to add 3/4 teaspoon of table salt. Now it's table salt, not kosher salt. Very different for baking purposes. Now we'll take 4 tablespoons of butter and we'll use our fingers to mix that into the flour. This is where making mud pies as a wean comes in handy. Now, after that's thoroughly mixed, use your fingers to make a wee hole in the mix and pour in 1 cup of buttermilk. Very nice. Now we're going to use our hands again and it's going to get sticky. So keep squishing that dough until it's good and sticky all the way through. And then we're just going to turn all that dough out onto the fluid countertop. Very nice. Now remember, I can't stress this enough, this is really, really sticky. So you might need to add a tablespoon or so of flour to get it to behave proper, which is what I do after I kick the tripod a few times. The lot of you. So embarrassing. Now it looks really sloppy here, but just imagine you're making those mud pies. And you'll have fun and you'll not worry about ruining the whole thing. But do not over knead the dough, or else you will ruin the whole thing. Get it off your hands, stick it back onto the main pile here, like so. I'm just going to stretch it out to about a 1/2 inch thick. And then we're going to take a tin can and we're going to cut the both ends off. And we're going to smooth it out and use it like it's a biscuit cutter. Cookie cutter. To cut out our biscuits. And then we're going to fold the dough over once. And then we're going to stretch it out a wee bit. And cut out some more. I was only able to get 6 biscuits out this way. But the recipe from Alison Brown on foodnetwork.com said that you should be able to get a full dozen, but I'm not very good at baking. Preheat your oven to 450 degrees Fahrenheit, and while that warms up, we're going to work on our gravy. Now I hear you say, but Ken, that's bacon, that's sausage. Very perceptive of you. We're going to use the grease from the bacon to cook our sausage for our gravy. It's my dad's own recipe. Now, probably later in the week I'll add a link so you can actually watch the bacon cook all the way through, just in case you didn't know how to cook bacon. But for right now, to save time, we're just going to skip to the pertinent stuff. And don't worry, that bacon will be later. Now just cut up your sausage like you would if it were a lot of ground hamburger meat. It's very simple. It's exactly the same cooking process, in fact. You cut it into smaller chunks. You let it simmer for a wee bit. You let it brown. And while that cooks, we're going to stick our biscuits into the cooker. Just like so. Now set your timer to 11 minutes. Well, it can be anywhere between 10 to 15 minutes depending on your own altitude, your oven, etc. Let's finish that gravy. It's looking nice and brown, which is just what we want. So turn the heat down. Now we're going to add about a 1/2 cup of buttermilk. Just like so. And a 1/2 cup of regular milk. Just like so. Don't worry about the colour. I know it looks a bit off-putting, but it does taste very good. And we're going to add some flour. You don't have to be too precise, and I know that some people like to use cornstarch for this instead of flour, but you don't have to. This is my preference. Add more milk, add some more flour. Look, don't promise you a healthy meal, alright? I never promise that, because that's just dangerous. Although one of these days I should probably try and make one, although I don't really want to. Healthy food just doesn't taste as good. Now we're going to add a wee bit of kosher salt and a lot of pepper. because pepper is very important. The best gravy is peppered gravy. I'll stir it around a bit. I added some water because I wanted more gravy on my biscuits. And then I added, of course, some more flour to thicken it up. Look, there's a lot of experimentation here. Don't I feel bad if it looks like I'm making it up as I go, because I did. That's the core of cooking. You try things out, you make mistakes, you fail horribly, and maybe you burn your meat or your biscuits. But if you learn from those mistakes, and you keep pushing on, then you can make decent food that tastes good. And at the end of the day, who cares if you follow the recipe perfectly? What matters is that you like what you eat, and that you don't bloat up and die from the fat content. After 11 minutes, we're going to check the oven, and oh, those biscuits are perfect. That's just what I wanted. Oh, very nice, Ken. Very nice indeed. Well, alright, we're going to take 2 of them, and we're going to split them in twain. A good biscuit should split very easily and be nice and flaky on the inside. And as you can see, that's looking mighty nice. That's quite what we wanted. I'm just going to plop on a ton of gravy. Just going to plop on a ton of gravy. Just as much as we can fit onto there. About half the pan full. I'm going to add a nice, healthy bacon garnish for our heart.
Well, that's our show. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you learned a lot. Specifically, I hope you learned how you can make this delicious breakfast and realise that it can be made any time of day. Lunch, dinner, supper, livenses, afternoon tea, whatever you prefer. You're watching Kilt Can You Cook, the Scottish cooking channel that encourages young men and women to have the confidence and competence they need to conquer the kitchen.